We got the one and only, the man that's been building a brand over for a good part of his life. He's been building this. He's been true to it. He's been building a community around it. And I wanted to bring him into the studio to give you guys a little taste about what it means to build a community around your brand. So I want to go ahead and acknowledge everyone that's in the live as well. So drop your questions about brand building, marketing. We're here to be answering them for you live. So like I was saying, we had the man Kevin. We have Anderson from Dublin. We got Alex. We got Beards and Bibles. Thank you guys for letting us know that the audio wasn't working earlier, but we're live now. And again, I want to give a moment to introduce the man Dryan. Dryan, tell everybody about who you are, and over the years, what have you been working on, and how important was it to build a community from the jump?
All right, well, how's it going, everybody? My name is Dryan. I'm the owner of the Dope Exchange, which is a streetwear brand and also a community platform event that we do. Taking it from the top, I guess, how it all became to what it is today. I started DJing, back in the early 90s or whatnot. I understood that, to build any type of community, you need like a strong foundation of like a substance that you build around that people, gravitate towards. For me, it was music. I was drummer in high school, but I couldn't get drums. So the next best thing was turntables. So which was crazy because that I didn't know it was going to take me to where we are today. This is pretty much what started everything. Started a couple brands. One of the brands was the 1200s brand. It was built from scratch. Pretty much was, the foundation behind it, because everything I did was, built from scratch. Meaning, it was built from DJing. So from DJing came about, throwing events to I'm a graphic designer by trade now, and by default, because I didn't say, oh yeah, I'm gonna be a graphic designer once I grow up. But man, moving to Vegas, it's crazy because to be a DJ on the Strip, you have to have a savings account because, that 30-day net when they pay you 30, 60, 90 days out, because you're a contracted employee at any casino or whatnot. I learned that. I learned that we had to promote ourselves. I got into photography. Graphic design was huge because, I had to make my own flyers after I found out how much it cost to get the graphic done and then get it printed, which was two separate departments. I learned the hard way. Cost a lot of money, but I pretty much cover a lot of ground today when it comes to, promoting and designing and putting it out there, and and building an audience that will show up, to the community event, which that's what we're going to talk about today. The most important thing. Super excited.
Incredible.
Hell yeah.
And I think what's always been really cool about Dryan is that it's everything he's done has stayed true to who he was. So starting from music, evolving into graphic design, apparel, events, and really just building out the Vegas streetwear community in general. Like, nobody's doing it like he's doing it, and this is the reason why we're having him on this episode, so you guys get a chance to really interact with somebody like Dryan, who's incredible in graphic design, any type of graphic design, marketing, branding questions, guys. And we also got the man Medine in the building. So Medine, tell them what they can expect in this very special show.
Yes, I'm here to just say everybody hello again. Medine, do marketing, branding, and run operations here From the Ground Up for John Santos. Just a brief intro. But yes, I'm very excited to talk to you guys about community today, because obviously we have the FTGU.app for you guys to purchase for $20 and then jump on there and get access to all kinds of suppliers, which we're working on getting you some of the best discounts in the industry, where we have answer your questions. We're doing live streams, all that. So there's that community piece, and we're talking, and that's the central part of this conversation we're having today. When we're talking to Dryan, it's about how do you build a community, and the community is a support system, ecosystem, where everybody kind of chips in, they help out where they can, and they feel supported as well, because you don't have maybe a huge infrastructure behind you. You don't have a lot of things leading up to your success. You need to root it out. You need to get to other people, and you need to have like crowdfunding support. You know what I mean? So community is critical, and we're talking about it more and more today, and we can't wait to deliver it to you.
Awesome, guys. And to kind of expand on that point, your brand and everyone that's starting something right now, everyone is so looking at, okay, I want to do something with little to no money, right? Because I don't have much money, so I can't throw my own events. I can't do all this. I don't really have any friends, so how am I supposed to be building a community? And we hear you on that. We understand that, right? But it's always important that you look at opportunities for you to start embedding yourself within the network and the community that you reside in. So just to kind of give you guys a little story, back when we started Revive the very first time, we had all this product because we had manufactured things before we even sold it. So now we're sitting on inventory, and the inventory wasn't the inventory that we even wanted because the original design idea didn't work in mass production. It worked in sampling, but not mass production. So now we have all these products that we didn't really plan on selling, but we had to sell them. It was either take a loss right out the gate or just continue moving forward. And these are the lessons. These are the reasons why we always say it, like, just get started and start taking action, because things will start building on top of that. But we had all these products, and now we had to try to sell them. And back then, the websites were not what websites are today. Today, you can launch a Shopify store in a few hours, and you can start selling. Back then, you had to actually build, either you had to know somebody that was really good at WordPress and integrating WooCommerce and all these other little logistical things that aren't as easy as they are now, or you had to pay somebody to build your entire site from scratch. So for us, we didn't have the website launch, so we needed to attend events. And the events that we attended were the events where we thought a lot of college students and high school students would be. So we didn't go to the, we didn't have money to go pay for a trade show booth and post up at a school convention for supplies or anything like that. So what we did is we started looking up events that were happening in our city. So we're in Las Vegas, and we found out, okay, there's an event called First Friday. And that First Friday back in 2010, 2009, Dryan will remember, was a very interesting place. Do you remember the 2009, 2010 First Fridays?
Yep.
So
it was wild.
Right? I mean, kind of
all the streets were friggin' full of everybody just bursting out, with art and everything.
Yes, everything was super art driven, and you were surrounded by community members of your city. So now you had everyone from all walks of life going out to the middle of the street, and you would just post a table. So back then it wasn't that organized. We just threw up a table, put a banner. It was like a $40 banner that we designed. Yep. We taped it right to the front. So it was like we always taped the banner right to the front of our 6-foot table. And then we threw products on top of it. And we had some bins, and we kept them underneath. And then we were out there like, yo, hey, come check this out. So we were like grabbing people off the street, giving them flyers, and we were selling bags at these events, because these events weren't regulated back then as much as every event is now. But when you're starting grassroots, you got to put your foot in the door and really test the product with the real market and a large sample size of that market. So events will quickly tell you, are you going down the right direction? Is the brand design or message clear enough for somebody to want to buy it? Or do you have to go back to the drawing board and maybe look at a new strike or a new design option? So, Dryan, what made you want to even, so before, like obviously now you throw some incredible events. You've done, we were showing a video a little bit earlier of you throwing some events with the lowriders, and like you had all these people, car shows and music. So what inspired you to throw your first event, or just tell us why an event?
So event for me, I think it's the most important thing that you can put out there, because it's selfless. It's you showing what you grew up in, what your culture is, what you believe in, the stuff that you like, and then you're putting it into this box, which is the event, right? And then you get to promote it to other people that might remember, like, oh yeah, that's dope, and I used to like that, or that's cool that they're having this mixed with that. Like right now, everything is big, right? Food, music, art. I mean, what beats that? That's the formula. That's the key. That's everything that we grew up in. In LA, where I grew up in, I mean, we used to go to the swap meets. We used to go to East LA to have, to check out like the cultural events, where it was like Cinco de Mayo or Dia de los Muertos, and something that was like really dope. That's not like the basic, oh, let's go to a Halloween event, Dia de los Muertos was a little crazier because, you had the music in your face. It was bumping, heavy on the cumbias and all that, the fun stuff, the colorful attire with the skeletons and whatnot. And then they incorporated food. So a family of 4 can go and hang out. They can go drink, eat, take the family out, get some entertainment. And I mean, I've done that pretty much my whole life. And that's besides, DJing, because DJing was same concept. A quinceañera happens. That's like a small family community that happens for the excuse of food, music, and the art of the culture, which is a quinceañera, right? So it's all the formula that you said right now about used to just pop up your table and then you had your banner in the front and bins in the bottom. I mean, who doesn't do that today at Comic-Con? Like, you know, the artists that buy, you know, a smaller table on the artist alley. I mean, that is the recipe, and I think that's what us as you know, putting it out there in the platforms where people can see and talk about this. That's what we have to ensure them to say, hey, this is what brings your passion and your purpose to equal profit, so you can replicate it and do it again. And the beauty of it is that you get to do this at multiple events. And if it's in your nature or in your desire to throw your own event, I mean, by all means, there's your community. You know, you are around the same type of people that you like. I mean, it's pretty basic. I mean, every big event, my top 3 events probably is going to be Comic-Con, of course, a type of car show, let it be lowrider per se, and Complex. So Complex to me is like, it's a little bit of everything. You know, they have like dope ass toys, the art toys, and like, you know, the streetwear brands, and then, you know, they incorporate obviously, you know, A-list artists, and then you know, the upcoming artists. But I mean, it's huge. It comes from Mark Echo. Mark Echo used to spray paint T-shirts, and then, you know, the whole Rhino thing came out. But you know, that's something else. But that's that concept. And then when you take all the things that you like, well, for me, I like video games, anime, cartoons, graffiti, and clothes. I mean, it all, you know, it just all combines, you know. And then on top of that is everything that I think other people might like. But then the background of music is so easy, because I like to eat and I love to listen to music. So it's real simple to formulate a program where people can be like, oh, that sounds fun. We should just go and check it out. So once they go and check it out, the importance of doing it correctly and doing it consistently, or at least with the right people and the right intentions in mind, is how you build community, because people are going to be like, oh, man, I can't wait till the next one. And that's pretty much how all the events started, you know?
Incredible. So obviously you've thrown events, you've been to a lot of events, you're a DJ, they invite you out to, whether it's Agenda, whether it's any of these shows, everyone wants, hey, how can we work with Dryan to make an event or do something special, right? What have you seen has been the things that the most successful brands that attend these types of shows, that invest their money into events, what are the things that they do really well while they're there that make them stand apart from people that are just getting started maybe the first time they show up? So like what type of tips can you give new vendors to an event that they might be going to in their community? What can they do to maximize their attendance and sales?
So attendance and sales at somebody else's event is something you really have to do a lot of homework on, because for me, it's a lot of the passion projects that you want to put out, and that's where you test the waters, right? You test to see if people are going to like it too. I don't say that your formula should be, oh, let me make something and see if people like it. That's not necessarily like what I consider you yourself being a true artist to yourself, because you want to make something whether somebody likes it or not. And then you build from that. Then you kind of get an idea, but you know, I don't necessarily.
Can you repeat that again? You said as an artist or as a designer, you don't make something to see if somebody's going to like it, but you make it because you like it and you test it out at these events.
Yeah, that's the whole point. I mean, it's like music, it's like food, it's like anything, right? If you're only making food that people are just going to eat, then that's all you're going to get. But then you're working like for somebody else at that point, because you're just making hot dogs or hamburgers, and then that's all you're going to make. You as an artist want to put spicy mayo, the bacon in it, whatever, you know, and that's how you make it your art. And then your presentation is like, oh, check out this bacon wrapped hamburger that I made with spicy mayo. Like, you don't know their reaction until you do it. So if you wait to see, oh, let me see what everybody else is doing. Like, nothing against like the mom and pop shops that are getting like designs from like Etsy and be like, oh, I could do it too. Like that's totally cool. There's also a market for that, but that's not necessarily considered as an artist, to sell your own brand. That's just you continuing the flow, looking for ways to make money. So at the end of the day, I mean, if that's all you're doing, then yeah, then that's your game plan. But not necessarily like, oh, all these designs from Etsy are going to pop up at Complex or Agenda or the Dope Exchange necessarily.
Okay, I see what you're
So
saying.
yeah, so I think on that is that's the true balance right there.
That's actually really cool. And I think Medine, can you elaborate on the restaurant order process when you go to a restaurant? This is a prime example of that. So if you go to an event with the idea of this is what I hope people are going to buy, and you show up with a bunch of inventory, right? And then nobody really resonates with it. Maybe you're saying it's better to bring out some ideas and concepts that maybe nobody has seen before and then get
'cause
real-time feedback.
That's like that's the only way you're going to find out. You can't wait to see what a survey says, what your Instagram algorithm graph is going to tell you how many, like, that is, it's like, I don't want to say it's fake, but it's not like in real time where you can evaluate exactly what it is. Those graphs and those numbers are for something completely different than your mission right now. Your mission right now is to create what you want to create, what you put feeling into, so other people can also feel it. And if they don't feel what you're feeling at the moment, that just means you're just not communicating it correctly. And you as an artist have to work on that. So if that's your goal, to communicate your art with people so they can get it, then that's the most important thing before even going out there. Because it's real easy to say, well, not easy. Money, never easy, right? To get it, to think about how much you need, none of that is easy. But the easiest part is to say, hey, I do have this concept. It's not a proven concept because I'm doing it right now. Other people have done it and they have a proof of concept, but I haven't done that. So I have to do this. So then, because obviously knowledge is power, but without power, you can't keep doing it, and you won't have the energy for when the community that you're building is coming, because then that means you don't have the energy to like fulfill. Mm-hmm. So it's a lot of different things right there.
Incredible. So Dryan is looking at events, and this is really cool. This is why I wanted to bring you on, because as a brand owner going to these events, you look at it from the perspective of, are we going to sell these products, and how are we going to sell these products, and do they fit this market? But the perspective of an artist coming out for the first time, or maybe the first few collections, they have an idea of different product lines that they're thinking about. They're not going all in on it yet, but they're like, yo, I designed this, I sampled it with my heat press, or I did some DTF, a short DTF run, or did a print on demand, and I'm just bringing a couple units out here. The events is really where you can kind of taste what the reception of the products are, and art, and is your marketing, do you have to better communicate those designs and that art that you created? So this kind of brings me back to the whole point with Medine always has something to say about this. So can you share the perspective here?
Yeah, no, I mean, like it's pretty much like, think about it like this, Dryan, it's funny that you mention food, because when you think about it, food, you have the stomach to receive the food, and so the stomach wants food, but then the soul wants art and consumes art the same way the stomach consumes food. So I don't mean to get too philosophy 101 class right now, but what I'm saying is what I'm saying is that art is something to be consumed, and it's something that people are either want or asking for or desire. So that every time you create some kind of a T-shirt, a product, a brand, it is a piece of art that you're offering to these people. So the connection I make there is like, you walk into a restaurant, you see these people sitting in your diner, you go up to them as a waiter or a waitress, you show up and you say, hey, what would you like to eat tonight? Or and they say, well, I think I'll have some spaghetti, and I'll have it al dente, I'll have it with the vodka sauce, and et cetera, et cetera. You take your notepad and your pen and you just write it down. You go to the kitchen, you make what they asked for, you bring it out to them, and then they pay. So if that concept is so simple, and no one misses that concept. You don't walk into a restaurant and say, listen, I'm going to give you a cheeseburger. I said, well, I actually want pasta. No, no, no. I'm gonna make a cheeseburger for you because I'm gonna make really good cheeseburgers. And then you go to the back, they're still waiting there, and then you bring a cheeseburger out to them, and they're like, I didn't want this. I wanted some pasta. And so what happens is ultimately, then now they're not gonna pay you for it, and they're not gonna accept it because they told you what they wanted. So what I'm asking all the people watching right now on the stream is, why would it be any different for the clothes and the products that you make that are pieces of art?
It's your communication. Your delivery, yeah. So what you're saying right there is exactly why he mentioned, John mentioned how samples didn't work for him in the production run, but they worked to sample out the product. So sure, let me get you that spaghetti. And by the way, you got to taste my burger. Just taste it. You give them a piece of that burger or whatnot, and then now you're killing two birds with one stone. You got your point across, which was what you communicated, what you're working on, which is the burger. They came for the spaghetti, of course, but that burger sample, that's where they're like, oh, this is all right. And that's where hey, this guy is going to give me feedback on my burger, and he either might love it or hate it. But if he loves it, guess what he's going to do the next time that he comes? Get the burger.
Right, exactly. No,
Yeah.
you're absolutely right. We're on the same wavelength.
Yeah.
What I'm just saying is that you just follow the same logic as a business owner or as a brand owner that you would as a restaurant owner. You just go up to these people and then you find out what they're looking for, and of course you can adjust things. They say, I'll try the burger. You tell them like, hey, you give offerings and suggestions. You do samples. But what I'm saying is the communication method is the same. So you do the same thing for your brand, for the products that you're making. Then sooner or later, you're going to service these people, and then you could start feeding them other designs, other products, just like you feed them other plates. So,
and that best feedback happens in person, no?
That's right. That's
Yeah.
what I'm saying. So that the more you talk to them, the more you get that feedback and advice. It's real time. You can see their reactions, their body language, what they're saying, and then you can read all that and say, I get a great reaction from this. Then the price point will follow and the sale happens. So that's what I was
definitely. Especially because right now, obviously, we're going into the holiday season, and there's events that are going to be popping up everywhere. Whether it's Small Business Saturday, the Cyber Monday sales, the trade shows, and little conventions that pop up all over the United States. There's a lot of opportunities for new brand owners to go out there and showcase what they're working on. A lot of times we keep it too close to ourselves, and then we launch it online, and then we say, hey, why isn't anybody buying it like I thought they would? Well, if you just take a few hours out of a weekend, a lot of these events might be like maybe a 1 to 9 or a 9 to 5, like before it gets too cold, because they start in October usually. And just take one day and go out there and actually bring the products that you're wondering if people are going to like to the market, and actually go out there and present it. When you go out there and present it to people, it's true to you because you've been really working on this, right? So now when people are looking at your products in real time, they're going to ask you questions, and you always want to kind of be cognizant of those questions, because those questions are going to reveal a lot about things that you probably didn't think of. It could be something like, hey, does this also hold my iPod? Like back then, it was a very common question. Can this hold a cell phone? And it was like, no, it holds a laptop though. Then it was like, but I want it to hold my cell phone. And I was like, no, you don't need to do that. Just put your laptop in there. It's all good. But like, people are gonna tell you what they want out of a product. And if you go to these events with the idea of, I'm gonna survey my audience for these new ideas that I got, and I'm gonna get real time feedback, and I'm gonna make a note of the things that they asked me about. Maybe I can make those adjustments in my official drop online. And now all the questions that they asked me in real time, I can answer through marketing. I could show through marketing. Maybe some like they'll give you like, yo, I really like the money bags design. It'd be really cool to see that with a like if you had a big money thing with a sneaker in it, and you're like, oh, that is a kind of cool idea. So then maybe that becomes one of your social media posts or like a message that you put out, right? Because somebody resonated with that design. What's been some of the greatest feedback that you received in real time that you applied either to a next show or to a next product?
I think anticipation plays a big role in how people react or how you get feedback from an event or a piece of art or a project or whatnot. So I think if you work on it enough, and you can start online and everything, or you can print some cheap flyers real quick and start handing them out at events, so people can at least start checking out your landing page, or we got so many ways to communicate that nowadays. I think one of the most important things, again, I think is that you get excited for your product, and then the anticipation will come by default, because it's just crazy. And I'm speaking from experience, because sometimes I put so much into like a graphic or a product, and it's not out, but I'm wild. I just want to put it up there, and I'm not the greatest marketer. I got to come and take classes from Coach over here so he can put me on. No, I'm serious. It's just one of those things. But what feels genuine is when you do that, and your energy, just for some reason, it just goes through the little screen on somebody else's phone, and then they just want to like click it, tap it, buy it, like it, make a comment, whatever. That's telling you right there, like, oh man, like my energy is coming back. You get what you give, you know what I mean? And it's again by default.
Most definitely. And we do have a couple questions, one of them being from Arturo that came in. How can I participate in the next $5,000 to build your brand pitch competition?
Well, Arturo, we have the answer for you. Don't download, because we are not on the App Store yet.
He's actually a member already.
Oh.
Yeah, so Arturo is currently a member, so we're going to be releasing the people that are participating on Monday.
Yes, we will give out the information of the people who will be participating.
Today on the app, we're going to be giving you guys the next steps. So for participation, that's going to be announced on Monday. So in the app, we're going to be having some updates. If you're not a member of the FTGU app, head on over to ftgu.app, and there's a monthly or a yearly plan. Once you click on that, you could either go month to month, and this allows you to be a part of the community where we have a t-shirt side hustle course. It's all already embedded in there. We have some resources that we're actively getting discounts for. So within the first week of November, we'll start onboarding those. Anybody that joins today and is part of the first 2,000 will automatically, the first 2,000 users will automatically be grandfathered into every future update. But for now, $19 a month or $197 a month. The $197 price, the $197 package will come with some extra bonuses that we're going to be announcing at the start of November as well. So anybody who's a customer of that gets access to everything.
Can we give them a little bit of a foretaste? I know we can't give everything away, but in terms of what we're going to be offering and in terms of some of the partners that we'll be working with, is there anything we can give them, or we got to hold off?
Yeah, so as you guys see, once you download the app and you actually have it, it's powered by Mighty Networks. So once you join it, it's going to ask you to download this app called Mighty Networks. That allows you to get it into your phone and be active with us. The foresight into what is going to be uploaded on there, you can start to kind of see there's going to be different packages that we're building out. So we're going to be building out packages for anybody that's building heavyweight fleece products, everyday blank products, more forward fashion, fast fashion products, heat press kits and supplies. We're gathering everything. But there's also going to be cut and sew offerings in there that are going to be available soon. But what we're doing is those packages are going to be things where you're going to be able to learn more about how to utilize them, and then the suppliers that are a part of that will actually give you exclusive discounts to doing business with them. So a lot of these discounts you can't promote to the public, and you can't do it because there's a lot of public-facing offerings, and people will say, hey, well, why are you giving those people a discount? You should give me the opportunity to do a discount. So like Costco and Sam's Club, you don't know what the prices of Costco and Sam's Club products are going to be until you actually are a member. And that's what our FTGU app is. We're going to be giving you guys exclusive discounts that they can't promote anywhere else. So we're bringing this all to you to help you build your brand and business from the ground up at an affordable price. We're making it even cheaper to get started and even easier to do.
That's right. I'm excited about that. Go ahead, Cody.
What I'm really excited about is those live calls. I love doing those live calls and getting to like consult with everybody and hear all the questions and just like really know what's going on with the brands that are in the app there.
Yeah, that's amazing.
And I think that's like one of the biggest values that people will find is the one-on-one sessions. They're like 5-on-1 sessions, small groups in there, but you can really like lay out questions you got with your brands, and coach will get you right in there.
That's right. We'll hook you up. It's a great time, and it's a very intimate setting too, so you can ask questions that you may not feel comfortable on this kind of a platform asking, and you're around family, so other people can listen to you, and you won't, and you can kind of really work through all the problems you're having, kind of feel open to come up to some solid solutions where you can like make the next steps. Because as an entrepreneur, the first thing that happens to you is like you get brain fog, you get caught up in your own head, and then you don't know what the next move is. Sometimes you just have a quick conversation, you open things up, you find those next steps, and you're rocking and rolling. So I'm excited about that.
Awesome. And at this time, I wanna jump into some of the questions that are coming in from the community. We have a couple people, and for those of you guys that don't know, Dryan is also a graphic design by default. He said, because obviously he needed to promote himself, and he couldn't be paying somebody to do his graphic art plus somebody to print. So Dryan is like one of the key examples of somebody that got started in the apparel and product industry out of a passion for an art and music. And then it just kind of translated to everything around him. So from purchasing sublimation printers to running a print shop to now working with other brands and designing collections and also getting their products ordered. I think this is a really good opportunity to take some questions from the community about printing and production. Is that cool?
Yeah.
All right. So we got Anderson here. He said, can you talk about what to do if you get large orders? I would subcontract, but that has its own quality issues. Also trusting any printing partner. Thanks. So I guess it's a threefold. How should they handle large orders? And before they subcontract, what are the things they should do to prevent issues?
Well, I think that's like 3 questions.
Yeah,
in
no,
one,
right. So let's answer one of them. Before
Okay.
farming it out to somebody to print for you, what should they do to get the best quality product out?
First, I would like to know if they're already printing with somebody. I mean, he's bringing up that there's quality issues, but depending on the type of printing he's doing, because if it's like Printify or somebody who's, questionable at best with their quality, sometimes it's hit or miss because they're freaking large. We have to find out if it's screen print or DTG or if they're doing transfers. But I guess before farming it out is knowing who your client is. If you're the client and you're just doing it for your own brand, then you have to figure out the budget that fits you for resale, because I mean right now everything is crazy, right? T-shirt, cotton, gas, all fabric is like up through the roof, right? But I think that's one of the main things you gotta look into before farming it out, and do your homework on who you're working with, because sometimes I think the big difference with me per se as a screen printer or somebody who's helping another brand, the difference is that I'm in the game on the opposite side of the fence as well. Quality is huge, and if it's a misprint, if it's crooked, if your colors aren't aligned on the t-shirt, like we have to look at all that, especially because most of my clients are for retail. They're ready to, fold, bag, tag, and ship it, right? And once the end user gets it, it has to be, the dopest possible. Mm-hmm. Yeah, so I think that's what you have to look into. If you're not working with somebody directly or locally, you have to go out there and do the homework and see if they let you be part of the production process. And I know it's hard for a lot of screen print shops to do that. I'm only speaking for myself because I have to do that, because I do that for my brand. So if somebody else comes to do the same for their brand, I have to treat it the same. Even though it's a crazy competition out there with screen print shops. But I think that's one of that is going to tell you what the best way to farm it out is, and your price points and all that.
Right. So whenever you're using a new partner, like obviously he mentioned like Printify is going to have its own issues. Printful is going to have its own issues. If you're doing anything through a third party that you don't necessarily can vet for, there's always going to be discrepancies in those orders. Now, if you're ordering something in bulk, and now you're going to, because you're going to attend these events and that there's a holiday shopping spree. So you're like, I know, I've already tested these products. They're doing pretty well with print on demand. I want a bulk order and get like 100 units, maybe 200 units of things to take to the next week's event. So if you're doing that, the main thing that you also have to start looking at is really breaking down the cost, right? Because I think sometimes people get really surprised by the cost of the product when they're like, well, I did this 2 months ago, and now we're coming into the so talk to us about how pricing changes so quickly right now.
Hey, shout out to Fat Joe. He got it. So yesterday's price is Unfortunately, not today's price. If anybody out there can figure out that cotton and gas both go up at the same time, because it takes gas to whatever the cotton and factories. If you can see that, then know that your price is going to fluctuate. You're going to have to add an extra percentage. My wife was just talking about that the other day, and she's a cosmetologist. Her new clients are already ready to pay the higher price. Even though she hooks up her clients or whatnot, she understands that, hey, that's the direction we're going, because it's across the board. If the minimum wage goes up, then food goes up. So it's not doing this; it's doing this at the same time.
Question for you, Dryan. How
Yeah.
do you communicate? So like when you're talking to a client that you've been working with you since you started, people sometimes take offense to that. Like if I've been supporting you since you started, how come you can't give me a hookup? And then now you got to explain that this new price is there. So how do you go about that? You just let them know, hey, these are my costs now, or I paid more. I mean, I'm worth more. So is that pretty much what you
Because
said?
you tell them, why don't you share my shit? That's why I'm not famous yet, right? I mean, man, that's a sticky situation, because if they're going to question you about pricing, question them about where they spend their money on a product that they can get from you versus a product that they already get from somebody else. Say somebody is a Supreme fanatic and that's what they buy, Supreme. Yeah, the Dope Exchange is like up there with Supreme in my head, but when my friend comes, oh yeah, that's pretty dope. That's a cool ass skateboard, bro. Like, yeah, hell yeah. Supreme sells it for like $300 and we sell it for like $150, and they still want to hook up. It's like, they're kind of missing the point,
Yeah.
So it's a little tough. That's a fine line right there. That's really
Yeah.
tough. You're questioning friendship.
Mm-hmm.
They're not taking in consideration your boundaries as an artist, and then everything else after that is you trying to figure out, yeah, man, what am I going to answer this guy? This guy should know already. Like they're already spending it on somebody else, right? And
So maybe they
somebody
could
else-
just take lower priority now,
I mean,
right? Or what do you think?
I think, again, it comes with the communication of your brand, your community. They have to know what you do, how much heart you put into it, because that has its own value. In our head, as an artist, priceless. Picasso, let's do this, right? But in reality, you have to be like, okay, cool. If you want to play with the big dogs, then you have to figure out your price point too.
Yep.
And you can't undersell yourself, because if not, we're always going to be starving artists. Always. There's no beating that unless, you get lucky and then, oh, yeah, cool, somebody pays you out. But, man, that's, that's how you
if they're
you
your
have to
friends,
figure
they'll
out,
support you.
Yeah, and
I
I think
mean, unfortunately, I didn't want to say it like that, but that is exactly it, bro. Like, it's black and white. You guys know the hustle. You know the struggle. Support it or don't. But don't be in the middle putting us in an awkward situation. Oh, man, you got to hook me up, bro. Let me get 2 of them. Yeah, $74.95 still each. Tell you what, I'll throw in a couple stickers.
Yeah, right?
I think a strategy I always say you should consider is knowing, first of all, knowing your true cost, right? Knowing the true cost
of
out the
course.
door. So if you know your true cost for a t-shirt print, two-sided hit, limited run, rush, expedited fees is going to be $17.
Inside tags.
Inside tags. It's going to be $18. Your hoodies are going to cost you $20 each. And if you know that those are your hard costs, then you know your retail price. You got to actually put out your retail price. So at $20, you should be shooting for the hoodie to be $60. The shirts have that like price barriers. People necessarily aren't willing to spend more than $30 a shirt. It's almost like a price. It's almost like going to get a gallon of milk, and like milk usually ranges between $4 to $5. So when almond milk comes out, they know that they can't price it at $10. They got to keep it somewhere between $4 to $5, right? It's more expensive to make almond milk at this time, or even like some of these other this vegan milk stuff that's coming out. It's a lot more expensive, but they have to be priced somewhere around that. So what do? They make the packaging smaller, right? They put more of a brand aesthetic to it that makes it feel very healthy and forward conscious, right?
Yeah, I think it's 0.75 gallons.
0.75 gallons for the same price.
25% less, and it costs a little bit more still.
Yeah.
I don't drink dairy milk, and we should stop drinking
Hey,
almond
but
milk.
if you
It's drying us
translate
out.
that, making the package smaller or whatnot, how do you do that to a T-shirt? You can't.
You can't. Yeah. So for a T-shirt side, right?
it
So
extra
for the,
small.
Yeah.
No, not even that. This 5-color print costs 17, and
Yeah.
this 2-color print costs 12. Like,
Yeah.
but it's the same brand, same quality, same.
It is.
Yeah, that's the tough part.
It
like,
is.
Yeah.
So you have to play with your pricing, right? So knowing that, hey, if $30 is kind of like a hard cost where you could sell them for $30, but it costs you maybe 17 to make, then if somebody like a friend comes, right, and they're like, yo, can you hook me up with something? You could tell them no. Or you could be price conscious and realize, hey, you know what? My hoodies are $60. That's a non-negotiable price. For a hoodie and a shirt is going to be $90 if we package that together. But now let's say, if you get both of them, I'll hook you up with a $10 discount. And now your shirt is being priced at $20, which you still make $2 margin on, but you got your full margins on the hoodie. So you could play with some discount pricing if they buy in multiple quantities, but you never just discount one product.
Yeah, and you can't just discount them by default just because they're your friend. Because imagine you had 20 friends at the same time coming to do that.
Yep.
Now it's really eating up into your,
Yep.
your
profit.
profit.
Into your whole business.
And besides that, the time it takes for you to say, hey, yeah, I'll hook you up. And then, oh, yeah, my cousin just got a hook up. Are you going to hook me up? Like, and then, oh, man, it's
I remember we had this
it's
guy
sticky.
at the trampoline park I used to work with. There was this guy who was a famous locally and all that, and I was the general manager, and he would come in and he would always talk to the owner, hooked us up with getting different finance things set up for the business. He was a great guy. So, but whenever he walked in with his son, he knew that him and his son were going to pay for jump time. They were going to come in and do their thing. So he could have just walked in and be like, hey, Medine, how's it going? And then walked in with his son, and that was fine. But he always walked up to the cashier register and always paid full price plus double tip. So every single time. And so, I remember the owner would be like, no, don't worry about it. It's all good. And he was like, no, I'm paying plus I'm giving you double. And he would do it every time. Now, it was more of a gesture, but it was just to show respect. And it was kind of like, it was saying that I'm here to be a patron and to support you. And then the other part of that is, what is your time worth? Think about all the time you're spending that you could have spent doing other things, now doing it pretty much, nonprofit work for your friends. So I'm just something to think about.
Yeah, nonprofit work. That's actually a really good point. You always need to know what your profit margins are going to be. So we're actually going to be uploading this profit margin calculator into the app too. It's a simple Excel sheet. You guys could run your numbers on there. You can also look at discount options. So if you know that if you're going to discount 2 hoodies and a shirt for a certain price, you can actually see what your overall cost is going to be after it's all said and done with your real profit margins calculated. So you can't go less than this price on any product. So if you're offering any kind of discounts, whether it's Black Friday deals you're going to do, buy one, get one, you're going to be profitable and you're going to make money. So sometimes we lose foresight of that and we just discount everything. And then at the end, you're like, yo, where'd all the money go? And it's like, you didn't calculate your profit margins.
And one more point I make on that is that offer the same value of a discount, if not more, is exclusivity. So let's say you're going to have an exclusive drop coming out and they get first dibs. They're still going to pay full price, but the friends who've been there supporting since the jump,
That's the key right there. Friends who've been supporting since jump.
Right.
Yeah.
No, exactly.
Yeah.
So but you basically can offer them something that makes them feel valued, makes them feel special, gives them the same, connection to your brand as a discount, but it's not hurting you on your margins. So
Absolutely.
now if you offer some exclusivity or some kind of specialty or customization, personalization, anything of that sort, a note, hand delivering, anything of that sort will still kind of make up for that. So just consider all of that too, not just slashing your prices.
Yeah, because then another thing you can also do, especially around the holiday season, since we're right around the corner from that, is offer custom packaging. And it's every order that we do locally, if you're one of our local customers, we're going to specially package your product so it arrives ready to gift to somebody, right? So it's like they don't even have to worry about the packaging or nothing. It's like a nice delivery. People really eat that up too, especially if you do something where it's like order $100 worth of products and you get this nice specialty kit that's also going to include a thank you letter, a place where you could sign your name. So now you're easily able to gift that to somebody or gift it to yourself. But you're adding these special touches that may cost you $3 or $4, maybe $5 with all the material and some time, but you're adding the value of not having to discount any products, and it's like you're getting full margin on your products because of that. So
yeah, I've also been noticing a bunch of mystery boxes this holiday season that brands are offering. So
Oh yeah,
it seems like
that's a huge hit right there.
yeah, like things that didn't sell throughout the year, they just put them in mystery boxes, and it's like a flat fee, and you don't know what you're gonna get, but you know you're gonna get like.
Or like the coach says, you throw like a couple
Yeah.
exclusives in there because they happen to be actual working samples that are ready for production, but some lucky guy or girl is gonna get that mystery box and boom. But yo, just real quick to tap in on what you were saying about, you know, your friends asking for a discount. Another strategy that you can use is reverse it on them. Don't give them the opportunity to ask for a discount if you already are communicating, hey, sign up for this. Let them do a little homework. They sign up for your email or whatever, and you get a 20% discount. Now they feel like, oh, shoot, now we all get it. So, you know, it's kind of like training your customer at the same time and educating them, letting them know that, hey, we're fucking cool. Like, it's okay, but this is what you're going to pay.
Yep.
And respect me, my boundaries for my business, my art, everything that comes with it, and wear it, rock it, and support it. And, you know,
and I still love you, man. You can
Yeah.
still come hang out.
Hell yeah.
I don't hate you.
You gotta buy
You're
me
getting some
tacos,
questions,
bro.
Johnny?
we got a question. This is a good one. So this is about brand photography. So somebody has a brand, Titus has a brand photo shoot tomorrow. Any advice on how to ensure it runs smoothly? So I know we've done a couple shoots. I know you do a couple shoots every year. What is some things that you've picked up over the years to smoothly run photo shoots for brands? What can they do as a brand owner to ensure that they're going to get the best quality photos and the best marketing materials?
So, depending on if you're the photographer or not, your level of, you know, photography and what you want to get out of it, that should be the number one thing. You have to put time into figuring out what your look is going to be. If it's somebody just on a, you know, on a bench with just like a cool pose and a skateboard or something, or if you're just doing tennis shoes, make sure you look at other brands and look at Nike, look at, you know, all the brands that are doing it, and see if you can get inspired by, you know, your top 10 poses, so you can communicate that with your model. And then that's another thing, your model, hopefully you can build enough of a relationship. If they're a professional, they're gonna show up. But sometimes if you get your friends, it's tough, you know, because it's like, yo, man, I need you to come and pop up. I'm doing a photo shoot for my lookbook, and oh man, I can't, and oh, I'll be there, and then you're still waiting. So I think that's gonna be the two key elements of making it run smooth. Invest in the person who you're shooting and figuring out the look that you want ahead of time.
I've noticed a lot of the
Location,
time,
yeah.
if your model's not comfortable, like if your model hasn't done it a whole lot, they come off like uncomfortable in the photos, and it's kind of like an awkward thing.
Yes.
You seem like a local brand.
And I think it really helps the thing that you said about poses. Poses are probably the biggest thing that as a brand owner you can set up for your models. A lot of times, even if you're working with models that might look good on Instagram, or they're like, oh, they have a really good look, I think they're good at taking photos, they don't necessarily know the poses that are needed to highlight your guys' brand's features of the product lines, right? So you have to take a look at different pose options that can come with the different scenes that you have. And I think another big part of it is to limit the amount of scenes that you have, because the more locations you're moving to, you're like, yo, if I do this one day shoot, it's gonna be 8 hours of shooting, and we're gonna go to 8 locations. You're gonna get some bad photos.
Yeah. You know, and there's another thing about that. So what we used to do when we had Revive, the one talent I had, I couldn't make a bag or sew things up or cut things to save my life. I couldn't put things together, or draw at all. But the one thing that I was really good at doing was bringing people together around events that we had, like photo shoots, promos, events, and stuff like that. And I was always highly skilled at it because I thought of one thing: how can I add value to this person without paying them directly? So I know this sounds like you're using people. Just hear me out. It's not the case. What you're doing is you're creating an environment like an event, and you do a lot of energy up front to make it something exciting and attractive that people want to be at anyway. And then you just capture them in the moment. So what I would do is I'd run to the grocery store. I'd have Jay bring all the bags and set up the photographer, and Caesar would have the products, and we'd all be there. And they're like, okay, where are the models at? The models would show up. They'd be there, and I'd go to the store and bring food plates, bring them in, make sure that we had drinks, make sure that they had everything that they needed. I would go bring a speaker, make sure that there was music pumping the whole time, make sure I ask them how they doing, what's been up with them, what's going on. Set the atmosphere. Really set the atmosphere, because now they get, especially Cody can speak to this, because you're immersing them in the experience, and then by the time they leave, they're not asking you for an invoice. They're not looking. They're like, "Thanks so much for letting me come. This was amazing." And of course, you're gonna have top talent. You got to pay for, and people you're not gonna get over on people. I'm just setting you up to, if you're starting out, make sure that you're offering a service of an event that is a photo shoot, because then it changes the dynamic. It makes the photos come across better. You could save more money. It makes it more enjoyable, and so on and so forth.
Yeah, playing music and having the vibe going is huge.
Right?
And making sure nobody's hungry.
Yeah. If they,
Nah, but don't feed the models before the shoot.
yeah,
That's
definitely.
rule number one.
That's
Hey,
true.
burping before
Hey,
the.
we learned the hard way.
Well,
Shout out to Maxim. I remember that year.
tell us the story.
We just showed up with food and we were not supposed to. Yeah. How about that?
Like, what are you doing, man?
Yeah, well, it's because some of them, like the models that come with like an agency that are professional that you paid for, it's sometimes even in their contract or in their tech writer. Models have tech writers too.
Please
and that's
do
one
not
of the
feed
things.
the models.
Yeah, because and then they're waiting around sometimes, and they see people munching on stuff, and that's not a good look. They want to eat too.
Treat them like humans. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
Interesting. So, like Medine said, if you're paying for top talent from agencies, don't bring model. Is what Dryan is saying.
No, don't bring food.
Don't-
to the models.
Don't bring
to the
food
models.
to the models if you're paying for top talents that are agency signed. Medine's perspective is if you're not paying them and they're not signed to an agency, bring food.
Well, there's a time and a place. Yeah.
Make it an event, and food is critical.
Well, but that also is different. It depends too. What kind of if he's doing like an event for himself to have like 3 or 4 models, and he's making a situation out of it, then absolutely.
Yeah.
I mean that was kind of the whole that was the whole concept with the dope flicks. Remember,
Yep.
having that. It's an event for photographers and models. It's like a networking thing. So if you attend or create those, I mean, you're killing 3 birds with 1 stone. You're promoting your brand, cross-promoting with other creatives. You got your models. People are excited to show up,
Yeah.
and then absolutely have food.
Exactly. Well, the thing was
Yeah.
is that I wanted it to be set up to where
Yeah.
after the event was done, I wanted
Yeah.
it to be something that they told their friends about, and they would want to come out.
Yeah,
and now we could have
absolutely.
a pool. But if that's not the case, fork over a couple $100. Make sure that you write off the paperwork and the contract invoices. But it's just depending on what you want to do.
Yeah, and then to to highlight that, so Titus, make sure you got poses figured out. Poses are key. If you're working with new models or new people that are going to be, maybe they had a shoot in the past, it doesn't matter. Just bring some poses. Poses are going to be what helps you make sure that you're getting the right products shots. That's going to help sell your brand's message. The next one is really creating a mood board or a direction for the photographer. So really lay out. Remember how I talked about not using multiple scenes, right? So even though you might have 8 hours, try to really stick to maybe 2 scenes. I mean, depends on how much clothes you have. If you just have a couple of garments,
Yeah,
it's
it
okay.
all depends on the situation.
Yeah, I mean, if you got a lot in your collection, then you're gonna want to limit the location so you can get the most out of all the products. But if you only have like 1 or 2 pieces that you're photographing, then it's okay to move around, but just map things out accordingly and know what shots you're going to get before you get there. Because a lot of times you might be thinking, hey, I really want to shoot it in this area that's right by this nice park, and we're going to shoot it by the water fountain, and we're going to do that at 1 o'clock. But you didn't go there before at 1 o'clock, so you show up and now there's kids playing in there, there's ducks and all kinds of stuff, and you can't shoot. So
Sounds like you've done this before.
yeah, exactly. We definitely have.
Or a homeless guy in the background.
Yeah, homeless guy in the background. You
Throw
have
him
to-
a hat. It'll be dope. It'll be dope. Yeah. Just
So
shoot it.
just making sure that you're planning for where you're shooting and that you've been there before and that you know what angles you might want to shoot at. Because, again, the photographer is there to assist you, but you as the brand owner really know the vision for it. So you need to just guide people in the direction that you're seeing it because you've done way more research than they have. Now, if the photographer is incredible and you've seen his direction is like exactly what you want, then you let him tell you what locations you should go to. Because if they know, hey, you still send them the mood board, you send them what you have, and then if he says, hey, I really think we should shoot here and here and we're going to kill it, then if you know their portfolio matches your vision, then that's when you can do a little bit less work, but that's going to cost you a little bit more money for those types of photographers. So if you're just getting started and you're doing stuff on a budget, it's going to cost you more time up front to organize these things and to bring the food and to create an atmosphere. Once you start actually getting money and being able to reinvest it, it's all about efficiency. So can the photographer save you time? And then can those models understand what you're going for, so you don't even really have to do much work. You just have to make sure the products get there.
Absolutely. Yeah, but definitely when you get to that next level, everything's about efficiency. So make sure you take care of your people, they take care of you. So investing in prep is going to be critical. Writing things out, scheduling, everything, making sure the different angles, the time of I remember we had a Revive photo shoot and we had to know the time of the photo shoot so we can get the sunrise, and we had to have our models out there at the right time. They had to be awake. They had to have a certain energy. So those things being planned out is going to be crucial too.
Man, we appreciate Grow the Good Stuff. Just dropped in a nice little tip. Thank you guys.
Ooh, dollar.
And for those of you guys that are just joining, we're joined by the man Dryan, who's had an incredible. He comes from an art music background, throws some of the dopest events. He's owner of the Dope Exchange. So Dryan, we're here. We've been talking for close to an hour now. What is a key lesson or a
Plans
key
for the future too.
Yeah. What is a key lesson that you've learned to this day, and any forward-looking plans that you'd like to share?
All right, so I guess a key lesson, man, there's so many key lessons, but I'll make this one kind of brief because I was thinking about it actually on the way over here. So it was heavy traffic, coming here, right? And I was thinking, about, the stuff we talk about, all this, everything from the ground up. It's super dope, right? And, me being excited in my head, I was thinking, oh, man, what can I tell folks if they wanted to be embarking in this journey of creating a brand and building community and whatnot, and where do you start? One of the things that I'm learning the best right now is staying in your lane. Staying in your lane, meaning the things that you can take care of, stay with that. You can be great at photography, graphics, music, friggin' Instagram, whatever, right? But you have to pick and choose your battles. So while I was driving over here, I seen a cop next to me, and I was like, oh, man, this dude, he's ready to pull somebody over because, I saw him. And then I saw this other car, it's traffic time. It's noon. Everybody's trying to get to the nearest lunch spot, right? This guy's cutting and swerving, and I thought to my head, what would make the cop stop him and why? This dude was not staying in his lane. He was trying to get there the quickest, fastest way, and that's kind of what gets you in trouble, which is why he got pulled over. So that told me that, hey, the reason this guy got in trouble was because he was impatient trying to get to wherever. And I know we got to get places, but still, you got to obey the law at this point because, you're on the freeway. So this guy is telling himself, oh, yeah, I got to get there. And then the cop pulls him over, and then immediately, oh, why is he stopping me? What do you think the cop is thinking? Hey, man, you're going too fast. You could have caused an accident. If you would have caused an accident, that would have backed up the whole freeway. If the whole freeway would be backed up, another goofball like you was going to be cutting and swerving, cause another accident, and the snowball effect. And all because you didn't stay in your lane. So I think that is like
That's
key
fire.
right
That's
there.
powerful,
I love
bro.
that.
That's
Really?
really good.
Oh,
I
dope.
love it.
What you mean really? Okay, that's dope.
That's a real depiction, a real explanation of what staying in your lane means.
Yeah, and I've been trying to figure that out for a while because some people are like, oh man, oh that's so dope. You get to do all these things. You're a photographer and you're a DJ and you're a designer and you have a brand. It's cool and all that, but at the same time, I wish I didn't have to do it all. But that's also too because I didn't learn how to stay in my lane. There's other people too that are like, oh yeah, you just gotta pick the one thing, and oh yeah, you gotta pick the one thing, and then that's it, you know. But I think that's the importance of that, you know. You get to pick and choose. But if somebody does tell you, hey, you do too many things, just stick to the one. Be sensitive to what they think you think they mean, because they don't know your boundary, your level of expertise in that lane. So even though you're trying out a bunch of things, there's nothing wrong with that. But you got to give yourself some time and pick the lane and stay in your lane. There's going to come a time where you're going to switch lanes for sure. And sometimes you're going to have to switch lanes and get off the freeway. But guess what? You got to your destination and you got to jump back on the freeway and you got to do it all over again. So that's kind of the whole point.
I love that.
That's awesome,
Yeah.
man. That's such a good. That's such great advice
That
too.
was a gem.
Yeah,
for
that
sure.
really is. That's got to be a short right there for sure. But
Oh, we're clipping that.
yeah, but I think like even expanding on that, a lot of people watching. There's some people watching it as in their print shop, so they're like, yo, I'm embroidering some things right now, watching you guys. So appreciate you guys. Black TY. So there's a lot of people that are watching us right now. They're working. They might be at home working on some projects, design. We appreciate you guys for tuning in into this. I really want to expand on what Dryan just said, because I honestly think we could wrap up the show with just that language. But then sometimes I think we should just drive it home a little bit more. So when you're just getting started, when you're just starting a brand and a business, there's this thing called you're going to have a lack of opportunities. Right, because you're just getting your foot in the door. You're just making your first product. You're just about to start launching, and you're asking everybody, "Hey, I'm about to do this. Can you guys support me?" And you're gonna get a lot of like, "Oh yeah, that's kind of cool." You know, you're gonna get a lot of that kind of face first, and you're gonna get zero opportunities. Right, zero meaning nobody's coming to you to say, "Hey, let's do this together." It's very minimal. Once you start putting yourself out there and the work starts coming out, you attend a couple of events, you sell online, you start building a community, people start flocking to what you're building on, they're liking your posts, they're joining you on Instagram. When they come out to an event, they're like, yo, I just saw you at the last event, this is so cool, I love the products. You start getting these diehard fans. With those diehard fans, there's going to be other people looking. They're going to be like, oh, who's this person? What are they doing? And then opportunities start coming to you. It could be an opportunity to like, hey, you want to be a part of this event that we're doing next month? Like, I'd love for you to help me organize it. And we can collaborate and make a split on something. Or it could be stuff like, hey, we're doing this big this big design showcase with this big NBA team. Can you collaborate with us, with the brand, help us make the products? There's going to be all kinds of opportunities coming to you as you're building and taking action. And one of the things that's going to happen is very quickly, you can go down this lane of going into every lane. One day you're going to be a photographer. The next day you're going to be a product designer fulfilling orders. Another day you're going to be selling your own brand. And another day you're going to be helping other people with a photo shoot. There's all kinds of stuff that's going to happen. And very quickly, your first vision of what you had gets a little diluted, because now you're like, well, I can do all this stuff. This is all kind of cool. But then when it's hard to refocus. So the importance of the staying in your lane means is really about understanding what you can be truly good at, what you can be truly great at. So as an individual, it's about downloading and taking an assessment of your skill sets. What are you truly one of the best at? Not good at, but the best at, right? So what can you compete head to toe with some of the best in the industry or some of the best in your own city, state, or the world? What can you go head to toe with somebody? And then knowing that you can be the greatest at that. Because when you start to compete in levels of where you're good or mediocre, that's where you're going to start to trip up and you're going to prevent yourself from being great. So it's about taking an assessment of your skill set, aligning it with your passion, and also making sure it makes you money, right? So what aligns with making money, being passionate about it, and what you can be the best in the world at? When you find those three and the intersection of that, That's when you can start making some amazing things happen. When you're just getting started, you're going to have zero opportunity, and you're kind of forced to kind of go and explore some things. You know, take the beginning stages to explore. It's okay to put yourself out into different areas because you don't know where it's going to land. But now when you're 3-4 years in, you should have a pretty good assessment about where you're going to go. And that's when Dryan is talking about with staying in your lane. Because if you don't, you're going to get in trouble, and you're going to quickly be pulled over, and people are going to say, what are you doing?
Yep. Watch out for that, definitely. And just want to make one more point. Dryan, the events that you have coming up next year, is there any big ones we should be on the lookout for that you can announce right now? If not, all good.
Oh, yeah, we could talk about it. We have a couple of the streetwear events that are going to be catered to streetwear. I don't know if it's safe to say, but I think, we've kind of been talking about it. There's that, the trade show style, and then also the pop-up style, because I know some brands would love to be at a trade show, but sometimes, their finances are just not allowing them to. But there's that. We're going to dive into some more of the photography and like the media stuff, where we can create content and help out with that. So that's great that the question came through about photography.
Do you have any hard dates for those, or not yet?
No, because right now we're looking. It has to be about the location. Usually when we do like an event, it's like out in an open lot where we have like food trucks and the cars and the vendors and whatnot. But I think this one's going to be a little more exclusive, where people have to like actually go in and attend, because there's other elements that are going to be put on.
We want to make sure our community is a part of your community. Right?
Oh, of course.
We'll make sure to.
Yep. Well, we will definitely be making sure you guys know what events are happening throughout next year. We're going to be uploading all of the calendar for the From the Ground Up app members. So again, From the Ground Up is ftgu.app. We're going to link it in the chat as well as in the description of this video. But on this site, the promise is you learn it, make it, and sell it. And we do it together, because it's not just you on your own anymore. It's not just you sitting in your room with ideas. You put it out there, and you're actually getting real-time feedback from people in the community itself. And the best part about it is that it's only $19 a month. So once you click on that website, you could choose a plan, and that plan is either $19 a month, or if you want to prepay for the entire year, you save some money, and we got some extra goodies for you that are going to be coming in the month of November. So if you're interested in getting started, go ahead and head on over to ftgu.app. After you fill out your information and you select what you're gonna be purchasing, it's going to ask you to download the Mighty Networks. And Mighty Networks is the platform that this is being hosted on right now. So it's not a scam. It's all legit. Get the Mighty Networks app, and from there you can actually view everything on the phone and interact with everybody in real time. So ftgu.app, we have a giveaway happening this coming Wednesday, 5 p.m. Everyone in the app is going to get the news as to who's being selected. So starting Monday, we're going to be helping you guys prepare for that Wednesday presentation. And then on Monday, we're also going to be announcing the next slot opening. So the selection of who's going to be pitching happens Monday, as well as who's going to be pitching the following week. So make sure you download ftgu.app to be involved. And thank you guys all for watching us live. If there isn't anything else here, guys.
Yeah,
I want to know where we can go check out Dryan's work.
Yes, that's right. Let's link them. Which pages can they follow you, Dryan? Where do you want people to be going? So we got the Instagram page, right?
Yeah, the Instagram. I mean, just Google the Dope Exchange.
You come right up, huh?
Yeah, that's the algorithm right there. Wow, look.
You got the sick
I look
website,
wild
man.
on TV right now, bro. That's dope. No, but yeah, the dopeexchange.com is where you can pick up all the all the brand stuff. And yeah, we're actually doing an update middle of November, so there's some new stuff that we're gonna launch. So yeah,
Mr. Money Bags.
Yeah,
I love it.
Yeah, that's my Mickey Mouse, just in case he sells like crazy.
Yeah, and I got that. I got the Dope Flicks jacket too. So shouts out to you, man. I love that thing.
Look,
I wear it all the time.
Look what I got. I got the
hand
Dope
sanitizer.
Exchange hand
Money bags, hand
sanitizer.
sanitizer.
So you wash your
man.
hands before you count the money, and then you
Yeah.
rinse them off right after,
Exactly.
so the money stays clean.
Yes.
Clean money, right? Yeah.
Awesome.
All right, you guys.
So we
Thank
should end this the right way.
Yes, we need to end it the right way.
All right, so Dryan, you're being indoctrinated into the FTGU family. So what we're doing here is
All right.
we say wake up and win. So we find what you believe in, what you love, and then go out and do it. Wake up and win. So that's central to what we do here at FTGU. So what you got to do is find a hard surface anywhere near you. And I'm going to say wake up. I want all of you to say win as loud as you possibly can in your garages, wherever you're working, at home, at work. And start banging. And I'm going to do it not once, not twice, but 3 times for good measure. We say, wake up! Wake up! Wake up!
Let's go, baby. Thank you guys for joining. Catch us on the next one.
All right. Thanks, Ryan.